Thank you all for viewing. Thank you all. Please let us keep on sharing with others so that others can benefit. Please subscribe and hit the notification button so that every time we upload another video, you will be notified. Last time we talked about recipe to a successful relationship or marriage. Today I want to talk about being a bigger person in a relationship or marriage so that it can be successful. A lot of men, they think that controlling your woman, telling her what to do, and you not being told what to do is being a bigger person. Controlling your woman, they think that that's being a bigger person. And then because of ego, the women, they say, I also do whatever that I want. He doesn't tell me what to do. They think that's also being a bigger person. And this is nothing that is taking people to, but only to bring conflicts and fights and confusion in their relationships or marriage. Today I want to talk about how or what does it mean to be a bigger person so that that relationship or marriage can actually work. Jesus Christ said to his disciples, Matthew 23 verse 11, he who wants to be great, let him become like a servant. He who wants to be great, let him become like a child. I couldn't understand this up until I took time to discern what exactly was Christ trying to say. Now, as I was learning back in college about the modules of business management, I realized that there are times whereby a leader, when he want, or a manager, or a successful leader, when he wants to make effective decisions, he takes himself back or down to the level of his subordinates so that he can try to see in a way that his subordinates are seeing. He tries to experience what his subordinates are experiencing at that particular level and try to feel what they are feeling so that he can make the right and informed decisions, because he has experienced the same things that they are experiencing. He has seen through the same perception and view that his subordinates are seeing. That's being a bigger person. So Jesus Christ was simply trying to tell us or to teach us that we need to be humble in a relationship. You see, humbleness, okay, let me say pride has affected a lot of relationships, especially in marriages. People, they cannot accept that I am wrong, but they find excuses and they try, or they actually prefer to go for days without talking. They want to go for days being in the house, being cold, without talking to each other, when you can simply say, I am sorry, yes, I'm wrong. People, they do not want to admit when they are wrong, and that is not taking people anywhere. Listen, when you are the bigger person, the first thing you have to understand is when you are wrong, you admit it and you apologize and you talk about things. You ask, how can you help me so that this cannot happen again? You see, I wonder, there are certain people who are in marriage who cannot even say to their partner, I'm sorry, I was wrong. They wait for other people to be involved so that they can say, I apologize. When both of them are adults, there are certain issues that they are taking to their aunties that are not even necessary. All you need to do is to swallow that pride and accept that I am wrong, I am sorry. Those three words, sometimes they are not coming out of people's mouth because they think they are bigger. So I am bigger, I cannot say that, but that's not being bigger. Jesus Christ was saying, he who wants to be great, let him become like a child. You see, a child, sometimes the mother can beat up a child. That child can go for a second, but within a short period of time, you can see that child coming back to the mother. That is unconditional love. But there's also something, children, they let go. Children, they don't hold grudges. Even up to now, people are together, but they are still holding grudges with each other. You only realize that your partner didn't forgive you when you fight again. You see him or her bringing back issues that you think you solved back in the day. She will start to mention about those things in the new fight. You will start to mention about these things in the new conflict. You see, that's when you see that we thought we had to deal with this. We thought we dealt with this, but you were still holding on to it. Actually, I thought you forgave me, but you didn't forgive me because you're still bringing back past issues. You see, when you are the bigger person in a relationship or marriage, the first thing you also need to know is to let go. The things that you deal with, do not keep on bringing them back in your relationship. You need to let go of those things, and you need to understand that when you solve an issue, it is a case closed. Do not keep on going back, opening up the things that you dealt with back in the past. You are not going anywhere. When you are a bigger person, you are like a child. When a child comes back to the mother, he's not going to mention about it anymore. In fact, the child has already forgotten about it, even if it happened 5 minutes ago. That's being a bigger person. You let go. Some people, they want to prove a point in a relationship. I wonder, you are in a relationship, you are in marriage, but you want to prove a point. So if you prove a point that you were right, then what's next? How is it going to help you in that marriage or relationship? How is it going to benefit you when you try to prove to your partner that I was right, you were wrong? It won't take you anywhere. Listen, when you are a bigger person, you don't prove a point that you are right. Even if you are right, you don't waste time to prove a point. Rather, you waste time trying to solve and build each other so that you can have a successful relationship or marriage. People should improve in their communication rather than proving a point. You see, I was right. I told you don't do this the last time, but then you did it. You don't learn. You don't want to change. You are trying to prove a point, and that is not going to help. You need to learn to communicate. You need to learn to forgive. Other people, they don't forgive. They don't forgive. You keep on holding grudges, and it won't take you anywhere. You see, he who is great, let him become like a child. When you want to be the bigger person for that relationship to work, you also need patience. You see, change at every stage of life, especially in a relationship. Relationships, they go through stages. So as marriage goes through stages, and at each stage there are certain situations or factors that comes either positively or negatively. What am I saying? People are resistant to change. Listen, people are resistant to change, and because the change is inevitable, you cannot say I do not want change in our relationship. You cannot say I do not want change in the marriage, because it will come whether you like it or not. You see, but when you are a bigger person, before you react to change, you also need to take time to understand these factors that are happening. Are they not because of change? You see, let me give you an example. When a couple is newly married and they don't have a child, certain things can be great in that marriage, right? But the moment a child is born, there is a shift of attention, especially the women. They shift attention from the husband to the child. That is a change. That is inevitable. That is bound to come. You get it? So as a man, if you I'm not really referring only to this example that I gave, but you also need to understand that as people grow up, especially in relationships, as a person grows up mentally, as a person grows up even emotionally, as a person grows up even physically, people, they change. The things that they used to like before, they sometimes they don't find those things interesting anymore because they are changing. And you need to be a bigger person to go back to try to see what exactly is happening. Do you pray for your partner? Being a bigger person sometimes takes time to understand or to view things in the view of spirit, in a spiritual view. Most people, they just blame their partners, but they don't understand. They don't even take time to pray for them. I told you, God is not going to give you a perfect person, because there is no person who is perfect. So simply being a bigger person, it's investing much in yourself to be a humble person, to be a person who is reserved before you make any rational decisions or before you open your mouth. Listen, women, they experience words. So be careful before you open your mouth to say something, because they will never forget what you say to them. Today, if you tell a guy, Dr. Miles Monroe says, if you tell a man you are a dog, a man will say, I'm not a dog, and that doesn't have an impact to a woman. But if you tell a woman you are ugly, you might say, I'm sorry, yes, and you might think she has forgiven you. Probably she will forgive you, but she will always experience those words, and they can affect a lot of things in your relationship. So being a bigger person, sometimes it takes you to have a character, to be well disciplined, to teach yourself to think things through before you act. Listen, every action has got a price. Being a bigger person, it takes patience. Being a bigger person, it takes you time to develop your partner rather than blaming your partner. It takes time to understand your partner. Some of you don't even understand your partner. If you don't understand your partner, then sometimes you're always angry. You're always angry when she makes mistakes. You're always angry when he makes mistakes. And you yourself, you forget that you also make mistakes. Especially the people who brings back the things that happened in the past. They also forget that they themselves, they also have the things that they did to their partners. So we are still laying a foundation, please. We will go deep. We are still laying a foundation so that when we start to explain things deep, you will have an understanding. So I hope you were following all the videos. Being a bigger person in a relationship, it's not about controlling someone, because controlling a person, listen, if a person doesn't want to listen to you, they will never listen to you. Yes, they can hear what you are saying, but they cannot apply it. So there is a big difference between hearing and listening. People, they can just hear a sound, but to put meaning to what you are saying, that's listening, to apply it. So never think that controlling a person means that you are a bigger person. To tell your woman what to do or to tell your man what to do, that is not being a bigger person. Being a good leader is being like a servant, to be able to listen. Do you take time to also listen to your woman? Do you also take time to listen to your man? Or you are saying, now we are equal, we are both human beings, we were created by God equally? Yes. Do you take time to listen? Do you take time to think your actions, how they are affecting your partner? Do you know your partner and what are you contributing to his or her growth? You see, God created people for a purpose, and that relationship is supposed to have a purpose. So when you are a bigger person, sometimes you have to humble yourself, not to only put yourself first. Sometimes you also need to consider your wife. You also need to consider your husband. You also need to consider your boyfriend. You also need to consider your girlfriend. Things must not always benefit you in the relationship. You also need to play a part in building up your partner. You also need to play a part in supporting your partner. The same support that you need is the same support that your partner needs. The same patience that you need from your partner is the same patience that your partner also needs from you. The same humility that you need your partner to have is the same humility that your partner also wants you to have. That same faithfulness that you want your partner to have is the same faithfulness that you must also have. You see, you must be, to be a bigger person, you have to be fair. To be a bigger person, you have to fear God. To be a bigger person, you have to be humble. Trust me, this is only a matter of being humble. When you are humble, things will flow in a relationship. Please, let us keep on subscribing. We are still laying a foundation. I hope this video was helpful. Let us keep on sharing with others so that others can benefit. Please keep on hitting the notification button because we are going to be uploading other teachings. Thank you. Be blessed. Shalom.